Train exists. Train sucks and exists.
Podcast with the thinnest blood. You won't find any thick blood running through our veins. We have only the healthiest, thinnest blood pumping through our hearts. My name is Bob, sitting across the way from my good friend and co-host. That's Abe. How you doing tonight, Abe?
Doing well, Bob.
Yeah, here we are. Lori's here too. How you doing tonight, Lori?
I'm fine.
Lori's fine. Tonight is Monday, January 5th. 2026. It has been not quite, what are we looking at here, 48 hours since Donald Trump decided to go get Nicolas Maduro. I didn't know it was an option.
What did you say when we woke up?
I think I said, we did something real weird overnight, which is what I found out when I looked at my phone when I woke up on Saturday morning. Anyway, before we get into that, let's bullshit for a while, because who fucking cares?
The world is not over yet.
I don't.
Took the kids skiing this weekend. We had...
at my dad's.
At Lori's father's house up in the mountains, about an hour and a half from here. No natural snowfall to speak of, but cold enough to make the good fake snow for the...
It was good.
Ski slopes.
Do they charge a premium when they need to pad the area, like when there's
They
no
charge
real
a
snow?
premium all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just outrageously
It's
expensive.
just expensive. I don't know exactly how much because my dad pays for it.
Okay. And is it like I have very little familiarity with this skiing. I went cross country skiing like 20 some odd years ago.
Where?
And that was it.
In Toronto?
No, it's like somewhere in the Carolinas. This was in
Go
early days in
cross-country
college. But never skiing. It seems like a hazardous kind of activity. Didn't that
It can be.
Cher's old squeeze die from a skiing incident?
So the thing with skiing...
Yeah, that one time, one person died when they ran into a tree. Therefore...
Liam Neeson's wife also died in a skiing thing. I'm telling you, the skiing...
So the thing with skiing that sucks is you want to go fast.
Yes.
But it's dangerous to go fast. So you shouldn't go fast.
Yes.
But it's fun. So you have to just have a lot of self-control.
I think I have determined, perhaps permanently, that I am not going to ski anymore. I skied last
2 years ago.
2 years ago, and then I think the year before that we went at least once or twice. And I was reasonably successful on the skis. I didn't feel great on the skis. I figured it out to where I could get from the top of the mountain down to the bottom of the mountain without worrying that I'm going to kill myself or someone else. But it did feel relatively precarious most of the time. I just cannot stop myself from going either just incredibly slowly, where you pizza the whole way down effectively, or building up speed to the point where I'm just not good at the moderate speed skiing.
I used to wonder what the difference was between athletic and coordinated. And I am athletic. Bob is coordinated. Oh. That's the difference. He's not athletic. He's very coordinated. So a ball comes, got it. I need to put the thing there, throw it, got it. Coordinated. But control where your body is in space, not so much. Oh. I don't know where the ball is. It could be coming at my face or 100 yards in any direction.
Look here now, lady. I can stand there and just absolutely bomb a baseball 200 feet from center field and land it in the bucket.
That's what
at
I'm
home
saying
plate.
You're good at. I'm saying you're good at that.
I
but
could
not
go out
controlling where your body is in space.
with a spear
Yeah, you're very good. You're
And-
very good at things that are not having to do with controlling your body in space.
Yeah.
Awareness of where your body is.
I think part of it is that I'm top heavy. I've got these long legs, and I'm not small up top. You know, I'm not as big as I once was.
But most skiers are that.
I just feel very much like my center of gravity is too high to be in control.
Because you're not athletic. You've no
Wait,
body control.
are you more leg than torso?
Oh, our whole family.
Yeah.
We are.
I don't have weirdly short torso like Lori does, but I do have longer legs than I do an upper body, like if we're in relative terms.
Right. Yes.
Anyway, I decided that like the risk reward, as much fun as it is to be out there on the skis, like I'm probably putting myself at greater risk than I'm willing to acknowledge, or that I had been willing to acknowledge up to this point. So like, I think I'll go with the family, make the drive, but I'm gonna stick at the house.
Wait, just to be clear here, you're saying that you found the exercise too hazardous, not unlike what happened to Bono. You were poo-pooing earlier.
Yeah, no,
No, it's dangerous if you're
it is
either.
It is absolutely fucking ridiculously dangerous.
But it's not. I don't think what I'm doing is dangerous.
Okay.
No, like, I mean, it's just like compared to almost any, like going for a jog as opposed to skiing down a mountain. I mean, I disagree. I think I can more safely go jogging around our neighborhood for 3 miles than I can safely navigate my way from the top of the mountain to the bottom. There are
It's so
fucking trees everywhere.
There are not. There are
I mean,
trees
not
on
in the
the
middle
sides.
of the course, but like if you go off course, there's a fucking tree.
Just don't go there.
Yeah, sure.
Or, and this is what I mean, don't be going so fast that that's going to be a real problem.
You don't have to be going so fast where a tree is a fucking real problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Well.
You know what I did though, Abe? Like a dummy, I packed up a backpack full of books and my laptop or iPad with the typing cover. Like I was going to be productive while the kids were on the slopes and Lori was down on the slopes. And I left my backpack on the kitchen table and didn't discover that fact until we were 95 minutes away or whatever.
Oh, no.
Very silly.
What did
Anyway.
you do instead?
We also went to Buc-ee's.
I cleaned her dad's kitchen and watched the news is basically what I did. And played Donkey Kong Bonanza on the Switch because my kids didn't forget their productivity tool, which was the Nintendo Switch 2. So I did that.
We also went to Buc-ee's.
You guys have a Buc-ee's up in your neck of the woods?
We do now.
It's an hour or so from our house on the way to Lori's dad's house.
We had the dog with us, so we couldn't really experience it because we can't leave her in the car.
Oh, was it the
I just
zoo?
filled up. The kids and Lori went in.
I'm 100% sold. I did not go in with any expectations. I did not go in like, oh, finally I get to go. And I didn't go in with like a sour attitude. I was just like, let's see what this is.
That's impressive because I look at this and I immediately have a sour attitude.
Well, that's how you are about everything.
It's way too much.
Okay, here is the thing. I immediately was like, oh no, I like this.
Yeah.
And the reason is because every single one of those people chose to be there. And there aren't many places in the world that are true that you can say that of, except fucking Disney World, Las Vegas, and Buc-ee's.
Ah, nice.
There's a gas station across the
Right
street.
there. You go
I know,
get gas anywhere.
They're choosing to be there in a vague sort of sense. It's not a true destination.
You could go to any number of gas stations. Or you could go nowhere, because I bet that I'm going to go to that Buc-ee's again when I don't need to. That was great. The only mistake we made was not coming hungry.
Well,
Were there was it packed, this place? Or
it was ridiculous.
Quite busy.
Yeah, that's
full of
generally
happy
how it is.
people.
What's funny is like there were seemingly hundreds of people in the parking lot, like just our cars in the parking lot. No shortage of available pumps,
Yeah.
obviously. I mean, they had so many fucking pumps.
I wonder how many pumps it is. There's so many. It's ridiculous. Like
I don't know. I didn't get to go inside, so I don't have a big take. Sadly,
We'll go back. We'll be back.
We'll go back at some point.
We'll come back hungry.
Anything else to report from your weekend, Abe?
I think it was about a month ago. I recall commenting on the my turning the corner in this new year for me, like 43, and I said, "Oh, 43, what a useless birthday. It's not a round number. It doesn't mean anything. There's not much difference between 42 and 43." I'm here to report that I was a bit premature in that statement. On Wednesday, this was New Year's Eve. There's the football game. I was working in the morning, so I worked a regular day, and then I came home, and I was like, I need to take a nap because I'm not gonna be able to stay up to watch the game or watch the Dick Clark.
Did you have an
successor.
unusually late one the night before?
I don't know, but I just remember I just got home. I was like, I need to and anytime I need to sleep for less than 2 hours, I gotta sleep somewhere uncomfortable. So I just slept on the ground, and it worked. I got up 90 minutes later, and I was ready to go.
On the ground.
On the ground. Did you sleep out in in your bedroom, right next to your bed?
Just literally right behind where you see me. Just all right.
Why not just set an alarm, you dumbass?
No, the alarm is. Oh no! I mean, I also set an alarm like that. It has to be an uncomfortable situation for me to wake up. Otherwise, I would sleep right through the whole evening. So the strategy works.
You know what Bob and I did on New Year's Eve? We stayed up till fucking 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Like idiots. Fucking idiots. Because our kids, we let them stay up till midnight, and then we need 2 hours to recover from that.
I see.
Yeah, it's a lot of time spent with kids who don't have a lot to contribute in an intelligent sort of way.
They just talk.
I mean, we watched a fun football game, and then but that game ended it was
like
a
11.
relatively quick game.
Yeah.
It's like 11:15 when that game ended, and it's like now we gotta we did a couple of Mario Kart Grand Prix or something, and then we flipped over to watch the ball drop or what have you.
The Anderson and Andy, which is not for kids.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
Especially when they get sloshed.
Oh my. It's sloshed or not, just not for kids.
Anderson wasn't drunk this year. Andy Cohen very much was.
Cohen, but I mean, Cooper was drinking, but just not as much. Didn't he do a segment? He seems to have cornered the market on grieving, he's trying to be the new Joe Biden. He's oh, death is an important thing, because he did a nice little segment.
Oh, we didn't see that.
Yeah, this was probably right after the game ended. So when you guys were playing the games. But I think he's done it before, where he takes a moment to talk about how he typically hates New Year's Eve because it reminds him of some death or whatever.
So the CNN one, and it's a very strange study in contrasts between CNN and ABC, because ABC, the Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest, and Gronk was there too, and it's so fucking lifeless, and or soulless is probably a more fair way to put it. You've got drunk ass Andy Cohen being just the gay devil on CNN, right? And then Anderson Cooper, a few drinks behind him, not sloppy, but having a good time, and
also with full judgment, full judgment of how Andy Cohen is acting, despite being his best friend.
Right, chill out, Andy, is what Anderson was thinking. But you have some, and not that alcohol is a truth serum or any bullshit like that, but you have an idea of who Anderson Cooper is, who his natural state of being is, from watching this program for a couple of hours on New Year's Eve. Ryan Seacrest is such a weird teleprompter reading robot, just so fucking fake. And it's just I'm the Chucklefuck TV guy. Here we are on New Year's Eve, and this is you tune in to see the Chucklefuck TV guy do Chucklefuck TV shit. And who does this appeal to? I sincerely don't understand who the market is, and I think I said last week, who in America knows who Ryan Seacrest is on the inside? And it's so much worse then like as a because like you watch him on Wheel of Fortune and it's like, okay, he's a chucklefuck game show host doing a Pat Sajak impersonation, and it's fine. But then you watch him on this what should be a relatively like let your hair down sort of an event, and like hang out and get to know the guy. And no, it's just like, man, isn't whatever artist is at the top of the Billboard chart great? Like, we just love everything, don't we? Here in America great, and the chart great, and don't we love Coca-Cola? Like, fuck you, man. Like, why are we watching this? Who fucking cares?
Well, you know, valid comments, criticisms towards Seacrest, but he has spread himself out to so many different outlets. I wonder how well known he is. He must be like a very well known person, because you have American Idol. He does radio. He does the New Year's Eve thing. He did the morning show for a while. Like he's been everywhere in front of different audiences that I suspect that a lot of people are like familiar with him. Like that's why he does. I mean, that's probably the flagship New Year's Eve show, right? Like I'm sure it does better ratings than all the other shows that happen, even though they're like stitching together pre-recorded like concert
it has no soul, that fucking program. And then they go to Gronk, and Gronk is just a fucking doofus who can barely read.
But that's like his appeal, right?
It is impressive that he is able to read the teleprompter. I will give him that. But like he doesn't really, he's not bringing anything.
That's all he's doing.
That's literally all he's doing.
But that's like his shtick, right? Like that's what people expect some doofus kind of like behavior.
But he's not being a doofus.
But he's not being a doofus. He's just reading the fucking thing. You just have a dumb guy reading poorly.
Well, yeah.
And he's not reading well.
It's not like the NFL on Fox where they make fun of him and he acts like a doofus because he's a doofus. He's just reading the teleprompter slowly. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get what ABC is going for. I don't know why it works for them to whatever degree it does.
Yeah, it works, I guess. People still watch it.
Anyway,
talk about Venezuela so we can get to the fun part.
Before this Venezuela thing, I was going to say this is only 2 years. I'm finding patterns where there isn't. But last year, when the year started, because this was my experience on Saturday, actually not even on Saturday, on Thursday, New Year's Day, my phone is like a bunch of people died in a fire. Like, oh shit, everybody's dead. Or whatever, in the Swiss, whatever. And I'm like, why does this is like the second straight year where some goofy, like I wake up to some goofy, what am I saying? Some tragic story somewhere. Like the New Orleans thing was over. I remember waking up the next day and there was some guy drove by and killed a bunch of people. And then now...
Well, they're very different.
Teenagers. I mean, yeah, one was like intentional killing of others. But this keeps happening. I don't know why people are not aware of the fire exits and why you would go in a basement that's...
well, that was in America. Trap. There might not been.
Yeah.
There might not have been.
But it's not like Bangladesh. I mean, this is like you know...
But the buildings, I don't know anything, but like old buildings are not... set up for large groups.
And some places are even worse because that looked like a death trap. They had like a basement activity, and then like the exit is a narrowing staircase out. Like any sort of panic, you're fucked. Like any sort of two people trying to get out at the same time. And then like 2 days later, I wake up. This was before I was going to go to the aquarium. I wake up, Maduro's captured. I'm like, what the hell is going on? This is the year starting off in a foul kind of mood, just very off.
I was so mystified by the notification when I looked at my phone on Saturday morning. Like, what do you mean Maduro has been captured?
Right.
Like, what does it mean?
And it was like this was the news came through like a Truth Social post, right? Like there were some media reports.
4 in the morning. Or something.
Yeah. So basically, by the time you woke up, no matter how early you woke up, you had some sort of report like, what? Maduro is what? Like it just didn't make any sense. Even though they were talking about it for a while, that this was one possibility. But you're thinking, they're just saying things.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously this has been talked to death at this point by everyone better informed and better read than we will be. But I don't know. It feels a bit too on the nose for me to say the word lawlessness again.
Right.
I tried to stop you. I tried to stop you.
But like Bob, it's interesting. I'm interested to hear your take on this because when the boat strikes were happening, you were like, "This is like a very unlawful kind of thing, and it should be a bigger deal than it's being taken like by a lot of people." And then this happened, which is like a further escalation of just a similar unlawful kind of thing. So like, I wonder like what you were thinking like when this happened, because this is like, holy shit, like what the fuck are we doing? Everybody's just doing...
It's so far, like, but the reason that I hesitate to even bring lawlessness into it is because to ask the question of whether or not this is a legal act by the President of the United States is to ask a question that is sort of on its face incoherent. Like the law almost doesn't come into play here.
Yeah.
In a way that matters, because of course the administration will give a legal justification if asked to, which they will be during the trial of Maduro. But like if there was a memo that needed to be drafted, and it's not clear to me that like the Attorney General or any of the White House lawyers or Trump's lawyers got ahead of this in the way that they often do, where they file some sort of a legal brief where they get the White House lawyers to sign off on something before they go ahead and do it, and they preemptively justify it by pointing to, say, a 1988 or 89 Bill Barr memo that was about Noriega in Panama, right? And use that as precedent and as legal authority for this sort of thing. But like to try to appeal to the law here. Like it's an act that automatically exists outside of law, or supersedes any of the normal conversations about law, right? Like it's saying that the president is permitted to act above. I mean, there's no other way around this, but through cliche, I guess. But to place himself above international law and the laws of, or at least the established order of, another sovereign nation.
Right.
Right. And so like to say, well, this is a lawless act, like whatever, like I guess.
Right. It
but
seems
like, why does that's not even what comes, like to me, and for somebody sort of who sincerely believes that the law ought to be the foundation for civil society, somehow even bringing that up feels sort of silly.
Right, because
like,
basically you're kind of almost like playing into the premise. I do wonder if this is a strategic device that they're deploying, which is to redefine what things mean, like kind of redefine reality. And, like the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America kind of thing. It's like I'm making you like come into my view of the world. Like this is now, this body of water you've known as one thing is now something else, and it maybe doesn't matter, who cares, but I wonder if this is part of some sort of larger strategy.
Right. And any reaction that you're going to have is a political act. Right. It is saying, no, we're doing politics now, and you have no choice in the matter.
Yes. And so basically that's the line of scrimmage. Like, which side are you on? And basically it becomes this thing. And now you have this, I've heard different terms, decapitation strike, like a lot of different terms. But one of them, Rubio, the Secretary of Everything, was on all the Sunday morning shows. And in one of them, he called it like a police action, right? So it's like you're creating a new kind of like reality that everybody has to inhabit. Like you're trying to treat this as like, oh, there was a an indictment, and then we just went
to say it's a police action, like, and what the response is like on whose authority,
right? Yeah.
Under what law,
right.
Like, and what is the response? Don't give me that jurisdiction crap.
Yeah,
would be the response, right? But there is no jurisdiction.
Yes.
For a United States police action to go arrest the president of another country, whether he's quote unquote a legitimate figure or not.
Right. It's a total concoction, and I'm reminded I'm not comparing America to Russia. So easy does it. But it reminds me of the special military operation. Like, like you're invading a country. What are you doing? Like, oh, no. This is just a quick in and out. And I suspect
This was their plan.
Right?
Russia's initial plan was to bomb Kyiv and extradite the president of Ukraine.
Right, and install a friendly.
Dead or alive.
Right, and then install a friendly person at the top. And America did it successfully. It seemed like they had somebody on the inside because they knew exactly where Maduro was. They went in, very little resistance, in and out in like 3 hours.
Tom Cotton was being a bit of a know-it-all chucklefuck when he was on Face the Nation with Maggie Brennan, saying, yes, like, let's just say we knew exactly what was going on with Maduro and his wife.
Oh, that's right, because of the bounties and being paid, because I guess the person was on the payroll already. Like, I guess that was the inference by saying that they're not going to pay out. I think it was a $50 million reward, right? So like, it wasn't like somebody. This guy's at the Ramada Inn. Like, go get him. Like, there was somebody like in the security personnel. The inner circle,
right? Presumably still there, unless they pulled him out,
right?
But
so like they had all the information, and they were and this. I don't know how prideful these military people are, but the military is still intact, right? Of Venezuela, like you've created this very volatile condition now, to where who are they gonna follow? Like the vice president, who's now the interim president. Like it is the possibility of things destabilizing in Venezuela and the region is like, who knows? I mean, maybe nothing will come of it, but like this is trending towards might makes right, and these major countries are now. I don't know if they have some sort of assessment that in 5 to 10 years things are gonna go crazy, and so everybody needs to pick on countries with resources that you want, like like Russia with Ukraine, China with Taiwan. And now the U.S. with just about all of the Americas, including Greenland and Canada and Mexico and Colombia. Like, are all the major powers, like, are we going back to the old days of, like, you carve up your own pieces and have dominion over these countries for strategic purposes going forward? Like, what is it that they're working toward? Because it's not drugs. It's whatever argument they're making, it's just not going to stick. Like, what is the actual driving force behind all this?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's not the drug question. If it were the drug question, this would have happened in Mexico rather than in Venezuela.
Right, and also the arguments that you're making could very well be made for the vice president, who's now the interim president. So if they play ball with whatever the oil arrangements they want to set up, but everything else was left intact, if they're at the same amount of whatever narcotics, whatever the claim is, like if all of that stayed the same, except now they're more friendly to America than they are to China, then all will be well. Like all the arguments will go away.
I think talking about it at this level is giving it more credit than it deserves to some extent. The second and third order effects on the long-term global stage 5-10 years from now are whatever they are going to be, and they're not part of the calculus by the people who carried this out.
You don't think that they
planned it? I simply don't believe it.
What do you think is the driving force behind these actions? It can't just be.
I think Marco Rubio is as strong an anti-Cuba individual as exists in America these days, in terms of an anti-Cuba hawk.
Right.
The Venezuelan regime is functionally been held up by Cuba in a meaningful way, as a strong ally of the Cuban government, and has been for some time. Apparently, the guards who died in this attack were Cubans,
yes.
Right?
Yeah, that's the report, yeah.
And I think that this is a personal, almost pet project of Marco Rubio to try to solve the Venezuela problem, or at least put his stamp on the Venezuela problem.
The Venezuela problem, or the Cuba problem through Venezuela? Basically, like
both.
Choke out Venezuela,
both.
Which will also choke Cuba, and then what? You have a failed state now? Like, what's the next step? I don't understand.
But it doesn't matter. So from his perspective, it doesn't matter. I knocked over the first domino. we got rid of Maduro, right? The Chavez thing is done, right? Chavez died, but Maduro is effectively a continuation of the Chavez thing. And we've cut the head off of that particular snake. And from Marco's point of view, or at least the way that he took Trump's insinuation that maybe we should take a step back. The press conference. Donald Trump reads from on Saturday morning, a little bit after 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time. He's reading from a prepared statement. The prepared statement obviously had plenty of Trump flourishes in it, but at least is sticking to the subject of the day, which again is the United States did a military operation where they went and they kidnapped a president of another sovereign nation out of his bed and brought him back to the United States, right? So like one of the craziest things that's ever happened.
Yeah, they literally perp walked them. Yeah.
And for all of like 9.5 minutes was Donald Trump able to stick to that particular event, right? He's for some reason, and I watched this whole thing and I watched a bulk of it again today just to refresh my memory and to make sure that I wasn't hallucinating. But like 10 minutes into this thing, he's talking about how there haven't been any murders in Washington, D.C. since he deployed the National Guard. And he's talking about Chicago and Portland and Los Angeles and like where else he wants to send the National Guard next. And like it's completely fucking bonkers. Like his brain is just fucking porridge at this point.
Right.
Like stick to the subject at hand here, man. Like I seriously encourage people, if you didn't watch the press conference as it was unfolding, I'll make sure there's a link to the whole thing. But it is fairly fucking bonkers. To say nothing of the fact that obviously there are still murders in Washington D.C.
Right.
Even
Yeah.
though the National Guard.
But again, this goes back to what I'm like. I think the idea there's this trend where Trump tries to create a reality and forces other people to inhabit that reality, and that's more of the same. Like because he's drawing a contrast. Before me, hellhole. Everybody was getting stabbed. Everybody was getting car jacked.
He's saying things like people are back in the streets.
Yeah.
They're going to restaurants like never before. They hadn't been going to restaurants even.
That's like
and now they're in restaurants again.
That's his thing. His shtick is to kind of say like, before me, hellhole. After me, everything is great. It's like a utopia.
Why are we talking about the steakhouse on K Street?
Yeah.
You fucking lunatic. You just kidnapped a president and his wife out of their bed.
Right. And also like there's this other thing where I don't know what it is about Trump and Obama. He has this weird fascination. He's trying to emulate his experience. He's wanted the Nobel Peace Prize because Obama got it. He wanted to have like a dramatic like behind the scenes shot of like them in the war room, and it's like this crummy like setup with a Twitter page in the background. Just like I don't know if they thought that was gonna like read like wow. Look at this.
They've got Twitter on the big screen with Venezuela in the search bar.
Yes, I guess to see the reaction, like the public.
No, to see if there's any chatter, presumably.
Like,
like if this is leaked at all.
Okay.
Because apparently the New York Times and the Washington Post both had this.
Oh, they sat on it just for
And
security
sat on it,
reasons?
yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I guess it was like overnight. It didn't matter. But it seems like he's trying to kind of like replicate past moments. I don't know what it is about him, but going back to your like his lack of message discipline, which is a recurring issue with Trump. He on top of all the random things he's mentioning, he's also talking about like I think he mentioned oil a handful of times. Like in the past,
I think like 20.
Right.
I think it was the number.
So
Yeah.
in the past, there would be some pretense of like some noble reason, like. They have some sort of there's some imminent like national security risk. We got to take action because they got a bunch of weapons, or they're funneling so many drugs that we got to do. Like you have to make the case that there's some sort of imminent reason why you're taking a military action. But with him, it was just like, yeah, we just want the oil, and like if the new person comes in, we'll see how she does. If she plays nice, totally fine. If she doesn't, she'll have a fate worse than Maduro. What does that mean? Like they're gonna kill her. The person who's been like just kissing his ass, who actually won the Nobel Peace Prize, she has been cast aside. I don't know what happened there. Just like fuck off. Like,
Well, she won the Nobel Peace Prize and he did not.
you think that it's something as simple as that? Like
It is purely that.
yeah, because basically like she's
As soon as she won the Nobel Peace Prize and did not literally turn it down and say, I cannot accept this because Donald Trump is the only true Nobel Peace Prize winner, she lost any chance of being the president of Venezuela.
Well, if that's all it took, I mean, she's been kissing his ass anyway, so, like, why not just do that? Like, who cares about if you want to be installed as... Because initially I was thinking, you don't want to install
this is,
a
by
puppet.
the way, what he said there was, I don't think she has the support or the respect of the people there
Nice lady,
in order to get it done.
Yeah.
This is a woman who was not permitted to run for president of her country because it's a corrupt shithole, and who supported essentially a cardboard cutout candidate instead, who got, according to most reports, democracy watchers or what have you, 70% of the vote. A guy who was effectively just standing in for her,
Right.
and then was not permitted to become the president because Maduro said, we're not going to do that.
Right.
I'm going to stay president instead. So she very clearly does have the support and the respect, even if it's functionally just because she's the loudest and best opposition voice to a corrupt and shitty socialist regime down there.
Right. So that's the thing. So, like, what's the calculation then? Like, you're making this half-assed case that this regime is beyond, repair. You cut off the head, but the way institutions work, a new head will sprout. So now we have a new head. You're gonna keep decapitating heads, figuratively speaking, of course, until what you get what you want. Like, it seems to be like Rubio. He keeps using different words because, like, there was an interview with George Stephanopoulos on This Week. Like, he asks him point blank multiple times, like, because Trump, one of the things he said was that we're going to run it. And he's like, oh, these guys behind me, they're going to run it. And, like, who's running it?
We're going to run Venezuela. And it's like, who's going to run Venezuela?
Right.
Well, me and Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth are going to run Venezuela.
Under what
And
authority? It's like...
But not even under what authority, but, like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Because nobody is on the ground there.
Yeah.
So, like, what does it mean that you're going to run Venezuela? And Rubio tried to flesh out what he thinks it means to run Venezuela,
Right.
which effectively it sounds like what he's saying is we're going to direct their economic policy, and if they don't listen, then we will there will be consequences
Right.
for that.
Direct the policy under threat, right? Like, basically, it's a coercive kind of thing. Like, he said quarantine the oil, they have this embargo kind of set up in the sea. All this language is kind of talking around what it means. Like, because he also said, like, the president has all optionality or retains all optionality. Basically, it's like nothing is off the table, including boots on the ground. And so, like, if this next person in line does not play ball, I assume that she's going to try to placate, hey, don't kill me. Like, I'll play along for a little while. But if she doesn't, because she has, I guess, internal pressures to do whatever, to appear to be standing up. If that doesn't work, then what's the next step? Because right now, like, you're right, there isn't a footprint on land. But I imagine they've kept all of the military arsenal right there still, right? Because didn't they have a bunch? Isn't there like a lot? There are a lot of ships out in that area.
Right, but what are we driving them towards is the question. And, like, what is because, like, to some extent, it's good that the Nobel Peace Prize winner or her party will not be automatic. Like, this isn't some sort of a democracy-saving mission, right? That we are deposing the current regime and replacing them with this democratic regime, and then forcing the new democratic regime to play ball.
Right.
Well, they'll just look like fucking puppets,
Right.
and they won't have the authority of the consent of the governed or whatever, because everyone is going to know that they serve at the pleasure of the United States government. Now it's just bald that the vice president who just became the president serves at the pleasure of the United States government, right? And if they don't do what we want them to do, then they're fucked.
Right.
And we don't care about the silly democracy stuff anyway, right? Like we just brush that sort of stuff aside.
Yeah. Democracy plays no role in this. It is strictly like a power thing. We have the power to compel you to do what we want, and if you don't, we're going to replace you until we find somebody who does. And so the problem is, if the new.
But that's my question. Like, what do we want? What is the thing that we want? And what Trump has said is, well, we want the oil.
Right.
And when he says we want the oil, he doesn't actually mean that like the United States Treasury is going to get in the business of selling oil,
right,
or like getting oil out of the ground and refining it. What he is hoping for is for American oil companies to come in and invest hundreds of billions
right,
of dollars in the Venezuelan oil industry, and then reap the benefits of that. And then on the back end, Rubio said like half a dozen times or more across 3 or 4 interviews that I watched him do on Sunday morning, they've got to enrich the people of Venezuela rather than just the oligarchs and the corrupt thieves at the top of the government. It's like, so now you're a socialist?
Right.
Like, what are you getting at here? They have to nationalize and spread the wealth of the benefits of the oil trade to the people?
Yeah.
Like,
I think whatever the reason is, it's not at the public level. I think there's some sort of orientation maybe towards Iran and China and Russia that they don't like. I don't know what's going on because they keep on talking about this in our backyard and, the Don Roe doctrine, this nonsense. Like there's got to be something more at play because it's going to take years for the infrastructure to be improved from what I gather. And I don't know why an oil company would want to go.
And it's an open question of whether or not it will be improved at all,
right,
because it's not like you can just go in and like turn the faucet and all of a sudden the oil starts flowing and BP and Exxon and whoever can just start selling it.
Right.
They have apparently, and I'm obviously not an expert on this at all, but having read a lot about it in the last 24 to 36 hours, apparently the capital expenditure that would be required to fix the Venezuelan oil industry infrastructure is tens of billions of dollars more than all of the international major oil companies spent last year combined, right? Like 20 or 30 billion dollars more just to fix it, so that it might work than they spent as an entire industry last year on capital expenditures, in terms of like trying to make shit happen, and finding new stuff or new resources out there. And like that's in on a global marketplace where you're not worried about like the sudden collapse of the government into absurd corruption once again, right? Like you're going into Venezuela, which is now obviously a much more volatile place even than it was 2 weeks ago, with the assumption that there's a really good chance that the United States could come back in and kidnap a president again, or whatever.
Right. Which will, and again, if you have a weak head of government, that creates a possibility that, the army could defect and do its own thing. Like, you can have a civil war just based on, like, there's a power vacuum. Like, the person at the top is not respected because they're installed, no matter what they say in public, they're installed by this big swinging dick that is America, right? So, like, why would that person be respected?
They had to have talked to this vice president ahead of time, right?
I mean, I don't know, because like, didn't they? She came out to say contradictory things in public, but again, that could just be a PR tactic.
Of course, that's what she's going to say in public, and they have to give her the space to say that in public so that she doesn't have her throat slit tomorrow, right? By like whoever's next in line,
right?
Like she has to say that this is a completely unacceptable outcome. But then also, we sort of have to allow her the space to say that if we actually want her to be someone that we can deal with.
Right.
So I get the feeling that she knew about this in fairly explicit terms.
You know what's interesting? Do you think I suspect that the actual legal case will take about, maybe a year or so. I don't know how long this is going to take. But based on all of the rules that you have to follow for like evidence to be admitted into court and like the process of how you conduct the capture of somebody, like there's a chance that this all could fall apart in court. Like it's dismissed on some sort of legal ground, like not like whether or not Maduro is like a bad character, right? Which seems to be like a unanimous consensus that he's kind of a twat. But like, what if the legal case, you have like a year-long case and it becomes this spectacle, and they can't convict because they did not follow the proper rules? They've done sloppy work in the past. I don't think this is like as weak of a case as Letitia James and James Comey, but what if it's something approaching that, like some flimsy case that gets dismissed. And now what? Maduro's going to have a reality show in America, or is he going to be deported?
Like, what do you do
Yeah,
with
like
him?
what do you do with him? Did he get?
Apparently, there was they explicitly made him an offer, like go fuck off to Turkey and live a comfortable life in Turkey for the last 10 years of your life or whatever he's got left, and go away basically. And he didn't take them up on that. And then you sent along an article that said that
That's right.
among the potential tipping points from Trump's perspective was that he was being a little bit too much of a fucking happy show off down there.
Yeah, he was playing. Yeah.
And like rubbing Trump's face in what he was calling an idle threat, basically, and like dancing and being happy,
right,
when he should have been cowering in fear.
But if they're taking military action based on just that, and they're shunning somebody who could garner support in that opposition leader because they want an award that you wanted, like if the decision levels are made there, then it's troubling. Like they probably, like you said, they probably didn't think it through. Like what happens next? Hopefully nothing happens.
I think that they, unsurprisingly, like from the military end, like in a very like small, contained sandbox sort of way, knew exactly what they were doing. Right? What a spectacular success!
Oh yeah, I mean they know exactly where he was and how it was executed, the planning. I mean, no American loss of life, right? From what I got.
Right. They came under fire. Apparently some injuries, but nobody died. And the general there, Raisin Cane, I suspect, was not asked what happens a week later. Right? Like they didn't bother going to him and saying, "Hey, what are we going to do on the back end here?" And I'm not. And maybe it's just completely naive, but like I think it would be more naive to say, no, I assume that they actually have a pretty strong plan here for what the next 2 weeks and the next 6 months look like. Right? Like, of course not. Rubio is just taking advantage of this moment, of the fact that this is very useful to Donald Trump to be able to do this big spectacular thing and to do it well, it must be said. The thing was accomplished with great skill. And I don't think that they thought much past that.
Yeah.
There's just no indication that they're able to think on those bigger terms.
It is. I mean, like it's been said a bunch of times over the weekend. They talk about the Colin Powell quote about like once you break something, you take ownership of it. So like, if this goes sideways,
which did Colin Powell hear that from like his dad, or did he use that against his kids to make them behave in the store? That's not how anything works.
But isn't that like a store rule? If you break something at the store, you have to pay for it, don't you?
No.
If I'm at
it depends. At like a little boutique sometimes.
Yeah, they're barely hanging on. It's your responsibility.
You left it on the shelf for my dumb ass with the grubby fingers to pick it up and inspect it, and I dropped it. That's your fault.
You wouldn't feel responsible if you like elbowed some china like at a store.
I mean, I think that did I drop a jar of jelly or something? Like at some point.
The grocery store thing.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. There's just so many of those things. They just walk away like, somebody dropped this. Hypothetically.
I dropped a jar of salsa as I was checking out a couple of weeks ago, and it cracked. It was a big plastic jug of salsa, not a glass one, and it very slightly cracked the plastic jug that it was in. And I just bought the salsa and brought it home and put it into a tupper, like a different container. But the person at the checkout was like, "Do you want me to take? Like, we can just replace that." It's like, no, you're just gonna throw it away, and I can just in 4.5 minutes I can get it home and put it into a different container. It's my fault that I dropped the salsa and it cracked.
You took ownership at a store, but not like at some mom and pop.
Yeah, it was at Wegmans. It was not at.
Nice.
What are you saying, that I should have taken advantage of Wegmans' generous policy and gotten a new one?
They throw away food all the time. This was an accident. You didn't do it intentionally, did you?
No, of course not.
Well, there you go. They got to eat the cost if it's an accidental drop. Unless it's a mom and pop shop, then you got to do the nice thing.
Anyway, break it, you buy it is a nonsense analog here. But
in this case, like, because if in the coming months, I mean, nothing really sticks to Trump, so like he'll be fine no matter what. And right on cue, just about everybody's kind of support on his side is supporting this, except for Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I think she's done now, right? Isn't it today
Yeah.
her last day? But yeah, basically, like, if you're against what he's doing and you're a Republican, you gotta just fuck off. So, like, he's not facing any sort of, like, pressure from his party. He has total control there.
I think that in the moment that's right, but I know he doesn't have to run again, and so it doesn't matter. And he has traditionally not gotten. They don't go out and vote for Trump in the off years anyway. So I think that, like, it almost doesn't matter in terms of the midterms. But, like, in terms of sort of anything approaching coherence to an ongoing MAGA movement and the America First notion of Trump foreign policy, it's too incoherent to be able to, like, I think it is a sort of poison pill for somebody like J.D. Vance or whoever is going to try to pick, like, this is too much up Tom Cotton's alley for it to make sense from an America First sort of perspective. This is a neocon's wet dream, what we just did here.
Yeah.
And, like, there's a reason that Tom Cotton and Marco Rubio are the ones who are out front talking about it more loudly than anybody else.
But what's weird is Trump campaigned to be the end of that. Basically, that was like a previous chapter of the GOP, and this is a new, like, nationalist, America First kind of thing. And now you're back to where you were 22 years ago. And so, like, how do you defend that? Like, just,
I mean, he was asked explicitly, how is kidnapping the president of Venezuela America First? And he has this sort of, like, well, it's our neighborhood and we want to have good neighbors, and so it's absolutely America First. And effectively, all he's saying there is it's MAGA. Whatever Donald Trump says makes it MAGA. Whatever Donald Trump says makes it America First.
Right.
And so, but it is plainly incoherent.
It is so, but they're not even attempting to be coherent, right? Like, 'cause every day it's some new thing. Like,
right, but that's what I mean, and it's why, though I don't think that this matters to him on a personal political level in terms of his support, and like you say, everybody rallies around him no matter what. I think that, like, in terms of, like, building out an ideological movement post-Trump becomes clear that it's much harder to do when this is the sort of thing that fully half or whatever of those who support him are all about. Like, and I don't know, like, 'cause it doesn't make sense for Tucker Carlson to still be a Donald Trump fan after this. Right. Like, it doesn't make sense for, like, it would be really difficult, and I'm sure J.D. Vance will find a way, but, like, J.D. Vance, you just cannot square what he's done here with the foreign policy claims that J.D. Vance has been advancing for the last 4 or 5 years.
Right. And do you anticipate there being more of this? You know, I wonder if this is like we'll punch somebody in the nose once, and then that will create a deterrence. And
that was the thing that was driving me nuts. I thought Stephanopoulos did a reasonably good job of when he's like, by what legal authority, right? Like, a very simple question, and a question that does not have a good answer because there isn't one. Like, by the authority of the Southern District of New York, we're going to arrest the president of another country. And I read the brief. I read the strongest possible defense of this, and it doesn't matter. Like I said, this exists outside of law in a way that, like, it's not even worth talking about from that framing. Like, I just don't see it.
Like, I suspect, I did not read the indictment, but I suspect the case of that other president that was pardoned, probably similarly strong or even stronger case to get a conviction out of him. So, like, the incoherence goes to that also, to where your behavior does not match up with what your rhetoric is suggesting, that this is such a big issue, national security issue, that you're willing to pardon one and go and kidnap the other, and then, you know, like, there's no rhyme or reason as to why this is happening.
Right. And so the question that I wanted them to ask, and I by the time I watched it the third or fourth time, I'm just shouting it at the television, but it's like, please just give me the limiting principle here. Like, tell me what the limits are to what your claim is here. Because your claim is, we can say that this individual on another continent broke America's laws. And by broke America's laws, all we mean is harmed American people, right? So we can go to a courtroom and indict a ham sandwich for having broken America's laws and brought harm to American people.
Yeah.
And then we are going to send helicopters with a gun, lots of guns on them and missiles. And if we encounter fire, we will, in self-defense, respond as we've invaded the sovereign airspace of another country and the sovereign land of another country. And by the principle of self-defense, fuck you up.
Right. But it
and then
like,
extract that individual from that country and bring them here in order to face American justice. What is the limiting principle here? And why does that limiting principle, what is going to stop any other country on the planet from applying that same principle and doing whatever they want to do?
Right.
How do you tell China not to do this with regards to Taiwan? How do you tell Russia with a straight face not to do this with regards to Ukraine or any other Eastern European countries?
I suspect that they're going to stop applying. I think that is now off. Going to be like it's kind of hard to make the case now. So like I think. China,
except that nothing has to cohere.
Yes.
Right. But that's because nothing has to cohere. It doesn't matter what we just did.
Right.
And that's why I wanted them. I so badly wanted him to have to answer the question: what is the limiting principle?
But one day they would, as Rubio and others, they would dodge. Right. They would say it retains all optionality. Blah blah blah. You know, some like. George Stephanopoulos asked, I think, Rubio 4 times, like 3 or 4 times in a row. After he gave his like non-answer, he would circle back, like under what authority? What do we? And he would just circle around it. And so,
and then Maggie Brennan on CBS asks him, so Maduro and his wife were 2 of 5 people who've been indicted by the Southern District of New York. Why didn't we go get them too? And and he was like, "That's an absurd thing."
Yeah.
Do you know how fucking hard this was to go get 2? You wanted me to send another 150 fucking gunboats and ships and helicopters to go do this? No, this was you stupid woman.
Yeah.
You have no idea how hard this was. Like, what a stupid question. It's like, sure, it's a stupid question, but like, you know what's stupid is indicting people in the court in Manhattan and then sending U.S. Marines to kidnap them out of their beds when they're on a different continent. Right? Like, that's fucking stupid. So it's like the follow-up should have been, but like, so are we going to do it next month?
Yeah, no, maybe not all at once, but is that the plan going forward? Because now it appears like you're going to try to do business with this, basically everybody but one person intact. Like, so you're still doing business with what you're claiming to be this like nefarious like cartel that's running whatever. Like, whatever happened to that? Like, it seems like it doesn't make any sense. It's just
and you're going to dictate the terms of their economy. You're going to dictate the terms of who they're permitted to interact with on the world stage, right? Presumably, anyway. You're not going to let them. I assume that Marco isn't going, since he's running Venezuela, he's not going to sell oil to Cuba and China any longer. Right? Like, why would we sell to our adversaries? And that the people that they sell oil to the extent that they do, is Cuba and Russia and China and probably Iran, I'm assuming, although I don't know that for sure. I guess Iran doesn't buy a lot of foreign oil. That would be silly. But like the relationships that they have on the global stage are not ones that Marco is going to approve of. So like, all of a sudden you're going to transform that economy. You're going to have a puppet government in place that doesn't do anything but what the United States wants to happen. Like, you're begging for a civil war, I think, as you hinted at earlier.
Like, the possibilities
if the wrong people win, which they will, because it's always the wrong people who have the fucking guns, then we're back where we started, except with a much more willing to pull the trigger sort of government in place.
Right. And then now you have an even worse like migration crisis into Colombia and then Central America, and what like hopefully none of this comes to fruition, but the possibilities of things going sideways is concerning. I don't know if this raises the prospect of some sort of like domestic, like, lone wolf, some sort of attack in the states to try to destabilize America, because like so far people are just like whatever. Like it almost kind of feels like maybe it's too early to say. It's only been a couple of days, but the reaction has been muted somewhat. There's been some protests here and there, but not much. It almost seems like it's like a learned helplessness kind of situation where like people are overwhelmed with all the crazy things that are happening. They just kind of tune out instead of doing anything. Like they don't feel like they can impact or make any change. So people are just going about their lives, which is understandable. But like if this continues and somebody tries to take advantage and does something in the States, that could be a big problem. Like again, the possibilities of things going bad is higher now than it was before.
Yeah. There's another element of this that's worth pointing out, which is that Pete Hegseth gets on stage or gets in front of the microphone down there in Mar-a-Lago and effectively says that the foreign policy of the United States Department of War is fuck around and find out. He doesn't say fuck around. He says F around and find out.
Yeah.
And then the White House and Department of State are tweeting out memes with FAFO on the bottom of them.
Which anytime I see Hegseth, I don't know why I associate him with the Succession show on HBO where he's like, "You're not serious people." Like to say something like that, you would say that like on an internet forum or something. Like you wouldn't be. You're the defense secretary of the United States, and this is how you're framing things.
And what is the limiting principle to fuck around and find out?
Right.
Like what does that mean for Greenland? What does that mean for Canada? What does that mean for Mexico?
Yeah.
To say nothing of like, and I just said that the coherence doesn't matter, that none of it has to cohere. I cannot help but assume that China is going to do something regarding Taiwan simply because what leg do we possibly have to stand on?
Yeah.
We have none of the moral authority or the legal authority to say anything about it.
Right. And that's why I'm thinking a decision has been made that we need to get ahead of the inevitable China move against Taiwan. Like, because either...
And isn't it like, not to be fucking, again, like Pollyanna naive about things, but what a fucking bummer that this is the world we live in, where it's just an expression of one's ability to do to express power in this way that matters, right? George W. Bush was derided as a stupid American cowboy because he went to the United Nations and presented as strong a possible case as can be imagined for why the world should do everything in their power to remove Saddam Hussein from power in Iraq, who was one of the world's worst people, right, in terms of people in charge of their countries, and got the thumbs up from lots of important fellow world leaders and militaries to proceed with that. Whether the wisdom of that certainly can be questioned, right?
Yes.
Obviously. And the results were not great. And the second and third order effects, the ramifications of that echoed across the last 20 years in profoundly negative ways. And I'm not downplaying that at all.
And it should be noted that, as George Bush wanted us to do, history judged him, and it was unkind. Because he was like, oh, history will judge me, right? Like, once the dust settles.
Right. But by that same token, I think that there's still... Does he have to draw to an inside straight here on the long run? Yes, he does. But he's still... I think he can still put his head down on his pillow and say, history will judge me, right? Like, he can still believe in the project to some extent. I think more so in Iraq, certainly, than Afghanistan, right? Like, at this point, you have to say Iraq is better off now than it was under Saddam Hussein. And yeah, it sucked. And the rise of ISIS was a real fucking bummer.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. But like, maybe on the long run, we were too quick to judge George W. Bush's actions there. Whatever. It's a conversation to have.
And also, by the way, it should be noted, CNN does the Around the World New Year's Eve thing. I had the TV on when it hit Iraq, and I'm like, oh, Iraq looks pretty nice. I don't know where they were. Erbil.
In what's that fucking country?
Like a Middle Eastern country or some other place?
Yeah, where is it? Hold on.
Qatar?
UAE? Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that's where they had the World Cup. Yeah,
Oh, it was
Yeah,
great.
they know how to put on a fireworks show there.
But yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe
they also know how to kill thousands of migrant workers.
Which is not important, right? Isn't that like the new way of the new view on things is like power matters more than democracy and ethics and human rights and all that
Right,
bullshit?
this is what I'm getting at. Is like George W. Bush regarded as an evil cowboy for what he did in the early 2000s. And now we're at the point where... Well, you're telling me that I'm supposed to ask before I go kidnap the president of another country?
Yeah.
Like there is a version of the Republican Party that could have made an incredibly strong case on the world stage for why Maduro needed to go. Most Western governments, most advanced non-China, non-Russia, non-Iran governments recognize that Maduro was an illegitimate leader of that country who lost the last election and held on to power against the will of his people, and that by the standards of a democracy, which they claim to be, he should not be the president. And like in a better world, we could have, as a global community, at something like the United Nations, come together and put a lot of political and economic pressure on Venezuela to change from within. And would it have worked? No, probably not.
Right.
But like at least that there's a universe in which such a thing as that exists. And instead, we are just in the, well, let's go get fucking Greenland next because we might as well, because Russia's going to do what Russia's going to do, and they're going to have their sphere of influence over there, and China's going to have their sphere of influence over here, and we better control this half of the world so we don't get fucked.
Yeah, but I think that's what their thought process is. Like carve up the globe to better prepare for what may come. It could be just an economic competition. It could be like a hot war. I don't think there's any interest between the U.S. and China to engage in a hot war, but like it seems like a decision was made like, fuck all of these niceties. Weak should, the strong should take over the weak. And that's why I think there is no real conspiracy with Trump's view on Ukraine and Russia. He just views as Russia is the bigger, stronger country, and Ukraine, you have to give up some stuff because you're the weaker, smaller country. Like to him, he just thinks of one country stronger and the other one weaker. Why is everybody throwing all this good money after bad to prop up a country that's weaker? They should give up 20% of their land. What are they complaining? Like I think that's his mindset. Like
right, the 80% that they keep is a gift from the more powerful Russia.
Yeah, they could take more. Like 20%. That's like just barely anything. Same thing with like Greenland. Oh, they don't know what they're doing over there. We want to protect whatever. Like I think that's just the mindset. Just like which in maybe like just a few years ago would seem inconceivable that an American government could make that case, but we've gotten to a point to
which
where
also like we already have the security guarantee that Greenland is, because of who owns it, is part of NATO. Like it's already within our security umbrella in a way that matters, right?
Yeah,
like,
but I guess it's not enough. Yeah, but you're right. Like, but again, soft power means nothing, right? Like that would have been a soft power kind of a route to take, to use existing relationships and agreements and alliances to, do whatever. But that's not what the mindset is now. It's just like strong, take over the weak to make yourself stronger. And it doesn't matter what don't worry about public consumption because it's all tribal, so it doesn't matter. Like your side is never going to say anything wrong because that would be disloyal. And the other side's going to say they're against it no matter what. And so there's no like political pressure to rein Trump in. And so you're in this weird environment, at least for the next year. Like this year could get a little bumpy.
If there is no limiting principle, and like trying to figure out like where else this ought be applied, what do you do next? Should not we have done this in North Korea?
Well, North Korea
or
has,
at least tried.
I mean, the lesson is if you have nukes, you're in good shape. If you don't,
I think that I had that thought on Saturday as well, which is like, man, I bet they're bummed that they didn't have a nuke, right? Because that's all that fucking matters.
That's all that matters. Basically, it's just not. There's a calculation. It's not worth the risk because the way it was such a successful kidnap, right? That you're able to go in to another country and take whomever you want and then leave within a few hours. Get in
and it must be said like minimal. Even I mean, I know it's like it's gross to talk about it in these terms, but like minimal casualties on their side too.
Right. Yeah. So this just encourages more of this, right? If there was a cost, you do the trade-off. It's not worth all of these American lives to take on one guy so we can try him in New York. But the assessment must have been like, this country is so weak and the information we have is so strong that the opportunity is ripe to go this early morning raid and do whatever, right? So, but going forward, like if another country, if somebody presents this information to Trump, like the CIA is balls deep in Mexico's inner circle, and so let's do this thing, and it will be very minimal, if any, loss of life on our side. Like if the risk reward was such, why not try this elsewhere? Because like there's no what's the political cost? I mean, there's not a lot of condemnation. There's a lot of like choice words like by the Prime Minister of the UK and other places. They're just like, I don't know about all this. I need to talk to the president to see where they're coming from. There's no like, this is a disaster. We can't live in a society like this, blah, blah, blah. There's none of that. It's just like, oh, shit. Like, what do we do?
If one of these helicopters had gone down and 15 U.S. service members had died as a result of this, would there have been any meaningful difference to the public's reaction and the automatic 45 split that happened as a result of this?
It would have been worse. Like I'm thinking, like, okay, out of the three possibilities, this was the best. Like, get him alive and without any damage. The alternative would have been like a firefight that got Maduro killed also, like his 40 Cuban whatever. They fought off, and then in the crossfire, Maduro. So like America got in there just to assassinate the guy. Like if that was a story, that would have been worse. If a helicopter died and like fell and 10 people died, that would have been worse. Like I don't know how much worse, but it would be worse than what we have.
I just mean from the public, the awful reaction to it. Like, would it have mattered? Would Donald Trump have been universally applauded as a great and brilliant and powerful man had there been some U.S. military deaths as a result of this?
I think there would have been some pushback because like it's still not clear what the upside is. Like, okay, so he goes to trial and maybe something comes out of it. The country is still under the same type of people. Right, so like, what has changed?
And apparently, and I don't know anything about, obviously, know nothing about the now president of Venezuela. But from what I've read just in the last day, this is somebody who's like a committed ideologue communist.
Yes,
like a real commie.
Right. Yeah.
And like, this is who Marco Rubio is going to work with. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, the answer is Colombia, right? Like, that's the next step. Like, you go and you threaten to do the exact same thing in Colombia, and then you threaten to do the exact same thing in Cuba, and you just, like, work your way around the Latin American countries that you don't care for, at least from a leadership perspective.
I mean, I guess if it was, like, just crazy, that would be one thing. I suspect that you want to let this digest to see what the fallout is first before you try to do another crazy, invasion.
Like, obviously, we're not going to push for democratic reforms there if we are perfectly happy with the current regime being more pliant to our economic influence moving forward. In the way that they're talking about running Venezuela, we don't want a free, democratically elected government there, right? Like, unless that democratically elected government is going to be as compliant to our wishes as the one that exists under the threat of our boot heel.
Yeah, I think that pushing for democracy, I think, is a thing of the past. Like, if you look at all of the what is like speaking of history judging things, like how has history judged the Arab Spring, right? Like all those countries where there was all of this upheaval and people are saying we want democracy, we want this and we want that. And in some places it fell into civil war. In other places you actually had elections and people chose like the Muslim Brotherhood or whatever, like in Egypt. And then they went to a military kind of rule. And it's been like that ever since. Like, it hasn't actually been good for the people. Like, all of those Arab Spring countries, like, are at least the people that are living there are not in a better position. You have a more authoritarian rule, and that's fine for a lot of places. They're like, we just want stability. So, like, if some thug, like, takes over the reins and they're the guy and they create stability.
It's what I'm saying about it being like super depressing because it's just a confirmation that we have no interest in governing ourselves, that we lack even the motivation to believe that we ought to be governing ourselves as citizens, as people.
Right.
That instead we should just suffer under the technocratic or autocratic or whoever authority that's in place.
But I think, to be fair, there is like this hierarchy of needs that I keep on saying. Like, you know, if you have no food and no shelter and you live in a very dangerous environment, and like what is it in Haiti? Like each area is like controlled by different gangs, so you have to like, I don't know, either like pay somebody or know somebody to kind of navigate your own country, right? So like instability, people will go towards stability even if it means it's an autocrat, right? And so like it's not like, oh, I have these two equal choice. I have autocracy and democracy, and I'm choosing autocracy. They're like, I'm choosing the alternative to destitution and just civil strife and chaos. And so, like, if somebody can create some stability, they'll just go with that. Like, you know, like what happened with El Salvador. You had all these gang problems, and this crazy guy comes in and just like, I'm just going to arrest anybody with a tattoo, and the violence and gang activity goes down, and people are happy, you know? Like, they don't care about, like, the fact that he did, like, this dragnet process of just capturing whomever. Like, anybody that's, like, of this age range and has a tattoo is assumed to be a gang member. Like, once things get out of hand, people just want stability at all costs. And I think that's where a lot of these countries went to.
I brushed aside the potential for it mattering here in terms of domestic politics. Does it matter domestically?
I think this is going to hurt the candidates running or trying to run like in the middle, like, you know, purple kind of districts. But I think by the spring and summer, it'll just go back to domestic issues of like affordability and, you know, jobs and inflation and that sort of stuff. So I think just like with everything, no matter how big a story it is, it just kind of falls to the wayside because the world we live in, it doesn't matter what happens. It just gets swallowed up and something else comes up. So by the time we record next week, there'll be some other thing and on and on and on.
The neocons who believe that this is just fucking an unalloyed good, that you do the utilitarian calculus and you say Maduro was bad, Maduro's not there anymore, therefore it's good. It drives me insane because the argument is always, well, whatever the second and third order effects are, that will be a result of a failure to properly manage the fallout. It won't be the result of us knocking over this domino here today.
Yeah.
And to some extent, you're absolutely right. But because you knocked over that domino, you own this, right? Whether it's you break it, you buy it or not, like you are now the author of the world that we live in, whereas before you were not. And that matters.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know if there's anything else to say about it at this point. Obviously talked to death by plenty of other people out there. It's so fucked up.
Yes.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Again, it's like I think my first reaction was the right one. Just, man, we did a really weird thing overnight. And I hope we don't do any more weird shit like that moving forward.
That first week of January, you got to keep an eye on. Because didn't that Iranian guy get killed the first week? Like 5 years ago before the virus started to spread?
There's nothing else that I particularly want to talk about in the news that feels like it matters nearly as much. Any other headlines you wanted to hit, Abe?
Oh, it's 10:30.
All right.
No headlines. Nothing to talk about.
You've been listening to Cast Iron Brains, a podcast with Bob and Abe. Lori's here too, obviously, executive producing the show. You can find the show on Substack.
It's just what a not fun hour and a half of my life that was.
brainiron.substack.com for more from us. More fun things than that, I guess. You can also check out Mark Gillig's band, tetramermusic.com, Tetramer music.com for more from Mark, who composed our opening and closing themes. Abe, I texted you during the Colts game on Sunday, assuming you were watching, because for some reason we had the Colts game on television here.
Yeah?
But you were at the movies. What movie did you watch this week?
Yes, I went, the season being over, I went back to go watch that game. Didn't miss much, especially how it ended with some goofy shenanigans. But I went to go see We Bury the Dead with Daisy Ridley. So it's January. And usually the January, February month, there's always a few movie stars who have a movie. Jason Statham used to occupy this window with just, I'm the beekeeper now, or I'm a this thing now, like I'm a working man. Like, just kind of found a lane. Same thing with Gerard Butler. He's got Greenland 2 coming up in a couple of weeks here. Just, actors who find like that mid-tier budget kind of thing that people say don't exist, like $20 million, $30 million movie, and just a few schmucks go to see it, like myself. And I will add, Daisy Ridley is in this.
Oh, yeah?
Because this is like the third or fourth movie I've seen of hers in the early window of the year. I'm like, oh, let's see what's coming up. Let me boot up this AMC A-List app, and there's some Daisy Ridley product.
I'd never heard of it.
Last year, it was she was like a window cleaner, like at a high-rise.
I remember that movie.
She's like a military person, and she's
that.
like squeegeeing the 31st floor for some reason. A couple years before that, she was like it was like based on a true story. She was like this swimmer from like 100 years ago, a woman, and this like a chauvinistic man was like undercutting her efforts. And then now she's in this We Bury the Dead movie, which is like a zombie movie, I guess. But it starts off as the United States is doing like secret experiments, like with the bombs. This is like a new age bomb. Like even like stronger than the nuclear whatever they got, and they're doing it like off the coast of Tasmania, and there was an accident. Oops, and everybody's dead. Like, oops, I'm sorry guys, 500,000 of you are dead. But what's weird about this, I don't know what technology they're using. Some of the people who die come back to life as zombies, and they don't know what's going on. But that's kind of a background kind of part of the movie. She's a wife. Her husband went on a work trip around Tasmania, and so this guy's fucking dead, right? For some reason, she's compelled to go see, just on the off chance he survived this strike that killed just about everybody. Like, she has some hope that she wants to go see him. Again, I'm not married. If somebody tells me there was a big fucking experimental strike off the coast of somewhere and my spouse was there, that's the end of that. Like, all right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go there to confirm. Like, what am I doing? But anyways, she goes there to confirm, and he's dead. But he's like cheating on her. She finds like a coworker who's there, and then you find out that she's also cheating. It was a pointless kind of thing. The movie kind of fell apart in the third act.
It's a zombie movie that's also about a cheating dead spouse?
Yeah, basically, it's like Daisy Ridley's character wanted kids. The husband kept on pushing it off because I guess he didn't want kids. And then she got mad at him and she cheated on him. And then she confessed right before he left on this doomed work trip. And they never had a chance.
Where he was also banging his work spouse.
But it's assumed that the guy was like it was like a retribution fuck. Like it wasn't like a pre-existing thing. Like he was taking out his frustration on this coworker. And anyways, he dies, she dies, and she finds a zombie pregnant woman who's, I don't know how the mechanics of pregnancy works, but the baby comes out unscathed, So the zombie woman flags down Daisy Ridley before she leaves. and she's like, zombie noises. She's like pointing.
So it's a happy ending.
Yeah.
She gets a zombie baby.
She gets a zombie baby who's like just, some blemish, there's some little blood on the skin, but otherwise a perfectly healthy baby, which again, I don't understand how it works. It's not like...
I guess you can, if you're a zombie, you can bite someone else and turn them into a zombie, but the umbilical cord blood is somehow pure.
Well, like the placenta filters the zombie part.
I think there was I think that there was something in Chernobyl, that 5-part mini. I think there was something to where like the placenta absorbed all the bad stuff and like it preserved the baby. The human body is kind of weird.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
a thing with zombies.
Yeah, and anyways,
Don't eat that placenta.
Yeah.
There are cultures that hang on to the placenta.
That's right. Do not eat that placenta. But also, like, not to be an asshole, but I'm not picking up some zombie baby. What if there's some sort of latent kind of zombie thing? Like, I'm raising this kid, everything is fine.
Is this movie any good? It sounds terrible.
It is a terrible movie. What's weird is if you look on Rotten Tomatoes, it's a weird split where the critics... There's like I think it's like an 80-40 split. Like, I forget who liked it. But the 40% people are right. This is not a good movie, and probably in 3 days it'll be out on streaming. Probably not even worth watching it there. But it was fine. I think the Gerard Butler movie is going to do much better next week. But I'm looking forward to this slate of movies this year.
What is Greenland 2? What was Greenland 1 about?
You've never seen Greenland 1? That's a good movie. Oh, you should boot up whatever streaming channel has it. But it's a good movie.
All right.
Yeah.
We watched, it was Geostorm, the Gerard Butler.
Oh,
that one was terrible.
It's a hit or miss, but maybe.
Anyway, is that all you watched? What else you watched?
Yeah, I think I have a soft spot for Gerard Butler. But yeah, that's all I watched, and football and the like.
All right. Well, we watched Oblivion with the children, a Tom Cruise movie.
We watched Oblivion per algorithm recommendation.
Is Oblivion the one that rinse and repeat, or is that?
Lori is that's Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Lori is suggesting that somehow I broke a New Year's resolution already.
Were you thinking, we should watch Oblivion? Let's see if that's streaming.
We watched Oblivion.
Were we going through?
We watched Oblivion on your father's recommendation.
No.
Period. End of conversation.
But how did it even come up?
I went to Netflix and he said, Oblivion, though I don't like that Tom Cruise, I really enjoyed.
Well, first he said he didn't like Tom Hanks, which
Oblivion.
is incorrect.
And then I saw on his shelf, he has the Blu-ray of Oblivion. So this was a legitimate recommendation by your father, not algorithmically induced.
It was algorithmically induced.
It was not. It was on his Keep Watching, which is not an algorithm. It means he had recently watched some of Oblivion and then suggested that we watch it as a group. And so we did.
What's the feedback by the...
Did you see it?
I've seen it, but I'm trying to remember what it was. It was some sort of sci-fi thing, right?
It's nothing.
It's not that good. It was fine. It doesn't like women very much. It's the one with Morgan Freeman as the sort of local shaman leader type of the human resistance. It's very much like a sort of throwback sci-fi story, full of many tropes. If you're familiar with the genre at all, it's all very familiar to you. The thing that stood out to me was, like I said, sort of how much the movie doesn't care for women.
Really doesn't.
There's a funny moment because the idea here is that the story that Tom Cruise's character has been told is that a long time ago the aliens showed up and went to war with the humans, trying to steal our resources. Many such cases, of course. Why aliens are showing up to inhabited planets for resources is a bit beyond me in all of these cases. But nevertheless, aliens showed up for Earth's many resources, and there was a war, and Tom Cruise says, we won the war, but in the process, the Earth was made functionally uninhabitable. And so my job as Tom Cruise is to keep guard of the machines that are extracting the final amount of seawater from the Earth that powers Earth technology out there in our solar system, and we're going to travel to join the remainder of the human population that absconded to Titan. Whatever. That's the story he's been told. As it turns out, the aliens won the war and are still extracting all of the seawater, and he's just been working for them the whole time, not realizing it. And ultimately, he has to decide if he's going to fight for the humans who live underground now, or side with the aliens. And of course, it's Tom Cruise, so he's going to do the work for the humans. But the thing that was amusing is he tries to explain to his romantic partner, this
15 years younger than him,
this
that
woman that
Olga Kurylenko.
Not the dark-haired mysterious.
Okay.
This is the
pale one.
The pale one.
Okay.
They've been living together and working together, and they, in classic movie trope fashion, they have just 2 weeks left, and then they get to leave for Titan. It's their last 2 weeks on the job there, and by all of his memories, by this character's life, this is his spouse, right? This is the woman that he loves and cares for and spends all of his time with. And at some point during the end of the second act, he said
he has dreams about this other
woman. He has
woman.
dreams about this other mysterious dark-haired woman, which is another sci-fi trope. But he discovers that all is not as it seems, and she's been lied to as he has been lied to. And he's like, come with me or you're going to die. Like the aliens are the bad guys. We've been working for the bad guys. Just come with me. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, all right, well, see ya. It's very much like, well, you made your choice. I said to Lori, I was like, I just want you to know I'd fight harder. I'd be like, look, you're fucking coming with me, whether you like it or not, would have been the response if you actually cared about this person. But Tom Cruise's reaction was, nah, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Not a very good movie. And also, there's a speech that Morgan Freeman gives. That,
Is Morgan Freeman like a turncoat? Is he working for the aliens?
No. He's part of he's the leader of the human resistance.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the rebels.
And he gives every single one of his lines would be completely unacceptable if spoken by anyone but Morgan Freeman. It's like they wrote this script and saw what they had and said, we can only do this movie if we can get Morgan Freeman. Otherwise, it's all going to seem incredibly ridiculous. But good news. Morgan was available.
Yeah.
So, and then we watched... What was the other thing that we watched?
Dead Man.
Oh, we watched Wake Up Dead Man, the third Knives Out movie.
There's a third Knives Out movie?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
called Wake Up Dead Man. There's no comma in there, even though there should be.
Is the second one the Glass Onions where the guy kept on
Yeah.
saying things wrong?
Yeah, the second one was not good.
So is this an improvement on the second?
Yes. I think it's the best of the three.
I'm going to watch it this weekend. I didn't know it was that.
I really, really
So
loved the first one. I loved Knives Out a lot. And I still think, for what it's worth, that's the best cast. It's the best ensemble of the bunch in terms of a fully fleshed out cast of characters. The first one is better. In terms of an interesting movie, this one is way better. And what's funny is that it only suffers from the fact that it's a whodunit. Like, this is a movie that is on the verge of being great, except that it is also a whodunit.
Right.
And it's like inextricably a mystery. And by necessity, it's like it's so clearly held back by the plot strictures of being a mystery. And it almost makes me mad that Rian Johnson didn't find a way to tell this story in another movie.
Right.
Or to have the balls to say, I've got Daniel Craig doing this character who is great. Let's do this and not have it be a murder mystery, right? Make the third Knives Out movie not a murder mystery, and it would have been way more interesting. I don't want to say too much about it. I know you have no shame whatsoever about spoiling movies for people. And once you have seen it, you will come back here in this very space and you will spoil the shit out of it for anyone else who's listening.
Listener beware, I always say. That's my tattoo. Listener beware.
I encourage people to watch this movie before Abe can ruin it for you. I will just say that...
Especially if you're Catholic. Watch it, especially if you're Catholic.
If you're Catholic, you should watch it.
Not Bob, though. Bob likes it separate from that.
There's a Catholic angle to this?
I fully acknowledge that.
Oh, it's the best one. I don't know why.
I know exactly why. The reason that it is the best one is because the Father Judd character is the best character that he's written so far. He's a spectacularly well-rendered character. The first 30 or 40 minutes of this movie, which is just the sort of first-person narration of the story by the main non-Benoit Blanc character, is fucking spectacular. It's just really, really well done before Blanc even shows up. And though I complain about the cast, there is one performance in particular whose name I will not say because I don't want to spoil anything, but one of the supporting cast is particularly good. I won't say anything more than that. And the rest of the supporting cast I could take or leave. So, like why is Kerry Washington in this movie? And that's not too much of a spoiler, but
Kerry Washington's in this. All right.
Yeah, but there are half a dozen people. Who's the guy from Sherlock who was in this movie?
Moriarty.
Moriarty, the guy from the BBC Sherlock show, whose name is what's the actor's name?
It doesn't matter.
Andrew something, maybe? Andrew Scott is the actor's name.
Okay.
He's very good, and his character is relatively good. And if I'm going to complain about this movie at all, it is a bit on the nose with what it's doing regarding Trumpism.
They all are.
They all are. And it has been annoying to me. I think Ryan Johnson is...
think he's not a fan.
No, he's clearly not a fan of Trump. His politics are a bit facile, and it's fine to be anti-Trump if you're a Hollywood type like that. That checks out. But the second one in particular is it's just... there's a way in which he does not treat his political... I'll put it this way. He does not treat his political, ideological opponents with the same degree of respect that he treats other people that he has large philosophical disagreements with. So, the battle of ideologies here between Benoit Blanc and the Father Judd character is as good an exploration of their difference in values and life approach as you will see explored on screen. And that the level of respect given to those opposing schools of thought is not there's not a similar amount of respect given to the possibility that somebody who disagrees with him politically might have a point. And to be fair, Trumpism is an absurdity and a clown show and should probably be dismissed with the sort of hateful disregard that he has for it. So maybe there's that. But also, it doesn't make for very compelling entertainment television or movie watching or whatever. It just feels like he's kicking down at dumb people, which is fine. There are plenty of dumb people in the world, and I guess that's what bothered me about the second one in particular. The men's rights podcaster is a fucking dumbass, and the tech mogul is a fucking dumbass. Who fucking cares? But this is a much better movie than the second one was. But yeah, check it out. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out.
We started Lord of the Rings,
and then
we started the Counting Crows thing.
With the children, we started the Fellowship of the Ring. I had said at the start of Christmas break, I want to watch Lord of the Rings with the kids because they had never seen it, and we made it 95 minutes through the entire trilogy of Lord of the Rings because we only just started it last night. But I think they're going to like it, so that's good. And I think they're fucking wonderful movies. I know Lori is not impressed by them, but...
They're fine. Okay, the horse, I have notes. I wish the whole thing took place in the Shire. That would be more fun.
Well, to be fair, 90% of what we watched last night took place in the Shire.
No,
so.
90%?
Oh, you just mean like the little village? The
Yeah,
one,
I mean the whole thing. I wish the whole thing took place.
you want a domestic sitcom drama?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be more fun.
Of hobbits.
Script problem. Half the Shire's been invited to Bilbo's party. Half? Not all? Why half? Which half of the ones weren't
Yeah, it's
at
not.
that party?
It's not clear that everybody didn't just show up for the party.
Mount Doom is a stupid name for. Like,
Look, he was
Mount Doom.
He was getting at first principles and underlying things here.
But like, come up with something a little better than Mount Doom.
I mean, Mordor is better.
Okay.
Right? Sort of.
That's the other thing. How are we pronouncing Mordor? Mordor. Like, why is everyone suddenly Arabic when we're saying that one word?
That sounds scarier.
Mordor.
Saruman.
But
Same
they don't
thing.
say it like that. They don't say it. It's just Mordor. Also, maybe my problem is that I kind of don't believe in evil. And like the fact that you have all these ugly bad guys and with no nuance and like the beautiful elves. It's like, it's just, that's not what the world is like.
Yeah, but I mean, Tolkien is presenting a battle of good and evil. Tolkien
I don't
is
like that.
someone who sincerely believes that there is, in fact, evil.
Yeah, I think that's my main problem is that I don't think that that's a thing.
Yeah.
And like, if your whole story is based on that, like, what's the motivation of this evil? Just to take over?
Well, it's
and then will they stop and be relaxed and be
So,
happy?
Obviously, I generally agree that the notion of a pure evil that good must do battle against is kind of silly. But as metaphor, I think it's quite easy to especially given the fact that in the Fellowship of the Ring, the primary conflict, as we're going to see for the rest of this movie, is the greedy and imperfect nature of the heart of man, rather than the unbridled evil of Sauron, right? Like
Yeah, sure. It's it's fine. I'm enjoying it. That horse chase scene was awesome.
the reason that evil is able to find a foothold in this realm is not because man is purely evil himself, but because he has the capacity for doing such.
Sure.
Right?
I don't believe in the pretend things either. But that horse scene was great, and that was awesome. The horse chasing.
Yeah. They're great movies, and I'm excited to watch them with the children.
We started the Counting Crows thing.
And yeah, there's a Counting Crows documentary on HBO by the Ringer people.
Oh, one of those. Is that part of the series that they do? Music
Yep.
Box or whatever?
And their focus is on the first two, because they do this.
The only two albums that matter.
They do this. The director gives a little 45 seconds introduction to the proceedings right before the movie actually starts for whatever reason. And she's like, I decided to focus on the first two albums because blah, 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 blah. And I didn't hear her finish the sentence because the actual end of that sentence is, I decided to focus on the making of the first two albums because those are the only two albums that matter because they're two perfect works of art. And everything else that they ever did was not a perfect work of art.
You've shit on those albums so much.
I have not shit on those albums.
You said that they're trained. You said they're basically trained.
No, what I said, and I believe this to continue to be true, is that there's not been another individual as part of a band who did more to elevate those around him than Adam Duritz did. And
we're finding out that it was all him.
Right. And this is what I'm saying. And you can hear it in the music. Even though he is the writer of the music, you can hear it in the ability of his fellow co-conspirators there in the band, that they are he is a force of nature creatively, and they are just there trying to keep up.
Well, it's like if he had a different kind of ego, it would have been Adam Duritz's band.
Yeah.
Just because it's not like they're a group writing songs. He wrote all the songs. They played the instruments.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I think that they suck.
You're saying they're basically trained when I'm saying they wouldn't be a band. That one guy is like, I'm a scientist.
Right, we're saying the same thing. I'm saying that this is...
You're saying, you have said they're trained.
I'm saying without him, they're basically trained, yes.
But I think that's not fair because without him, they wouldn't exist.
Without
Train
him...
exists. Train sucks and exists. They wouldn't be like, what we should still do is music. Like, they just wouldn't.
He elevates the material by the force of his presentation.
Anyway, I feel bad for people who don't love Accounting Crows.
Yeah. He is, I said this watching this, there have been few people in the pop culture who are less good at presenting themselves, just in terms of like, even as just like dressing and choosing headgear and hairstyles. Like, he is such a fucking catastrophe in terms of how he presents to this day. He has not aged gracefully into an understanding of like who he is physically in the world. He's a deeply fucked up individual personally, like in terms of his own mental health. And I have a great deal of sympathy for the man. I don't feel bad for him. He's obviously had a great go of it and produced impeccable works of art, as in no small part, no doubt, informed by his curious way of seeing the world. But like, he's still growing a bad beard and then dyeing it a bad color. His hair is still stupid and dyed the wrong color. Like, he doesn't know. Like, it's such an unfortunate mismatch of internal identity and external identity. And there's probably nothing that he can ever do about it.
We are missing like the most exciting FCS championship game. You guys have been talking about the most depressing thing. We could have been watching...
Who's in it?
Illinois State and Montana State.
Wow.
I thought the assumption was that whoever won the Montana school showdown was going to be the inevitable winner.
It's going
of the
into
FCS.
overtime. Illinois State scored a touchdown in overtime, and their extra point was blocked again after the field goal to win was blocked. And the kicker face masked the returner, and by rule, the penalty is automatically declined. Like, we're missing it.
I should have had Abe live bet that game. That was foolish of me.
The Redbirds versus the Bobcats. Wow.
Well, Abe, have you got anything else for us tonight?
Nope.
Well, I guess that's all we've got for you tonight, then, and we will talk to you next time.
Later.
All right.
There you go, 4th and 10. Touchdown.
Is it a touchdown?
Extra point to win it.
How did you... I'm on YouTube. How are you seeing that?
I'm watching the show. It's on my phone.
Oh,
He threw it to Taco Dowler. That's Taco...
We missed...
Taco Dowler.
We missed this. You guys chose to talk about Venezuela.
My phone did not alert me of this wonderful game. I guess I don't keep track of FCS. But yeah.
It's just Twitter.
Anyway, what was your question about the vest? My weighted vest?
Oh, yeah. So what's the thought behind a weighted vest? What is the idea?
Make yourself fucking fatter so your muscles have to work harder.
Yeah, it's just like every exercise. All right, they win.
Would you get the same benefit if you, like, instead of a 15-pound vest, you gained 15 pounds and you did all the exercise?
No.
No?
So, I mean, I think that's sort of the whole...
Can I see them?
The concept of the bulk and then the cut is exactly that.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true, yeah.
Right? That's what they do, is they bulk, and they don't worry about how they look. They just put on as much muscle and weight as possible.
And then they trim.
Right. So you like eat a bunch of spaghetti and fucking protein and whatever else, and it doesn't fucking matter. And then when you want to see what's underneath, then you do the cut.
I see.
Have you taken the Google News feed off your phone?
No, not yet.
Oh, it's very easy. I accidentally do it all the time.
What size of a weight vest did you get? Weighted vest?
16 pounds.
Oh, is that what it comes in 16?
Yeah.
So what happened was my boss is like 60 and gay, which doesn't matter. They're both gay. And Bob saw him after not having seen him for a while. And he was like, "What's Mike taking?" And I was like, "I don't know, I'll ask."
He's taking some fucking supplement. He's taking some steroids, I guarantee it.
He's not. He would tell me. I asked him. I was like, "Bob wants to know what you're doing."
Is he like shredded or
said-
something? Like what's his
He's not
physique?
shredded, but he's first of all, He works 2 days a week, barely. He's home all the goddamn time with school-aged children. So he's home all the goddamn time while his husband is at work all day. Sounds familiar. Their kid is going to college next year, and still they act like he needs someone at home. Like, he's fucking fine. But anyway, I was like, what are you eating? What are you doing differently? And he was like, I will tell you, I have been walking with a weighted vest.
Wow.
And that's what I've been doing.
Nice.
And I was like, interesting. I was like, Bob wanted to know. And I texted Bob, and he said, good, now stop telling your gay bosses about what I think about their hot bods. Which was funny.
The proceeding was created with 100% human content.